Hi, and welcome back to our daily news report. Today we have a wide range of latest stories from around the world, so let's dive right in. First up, the fourth phase of Lok Sabha elections witnessed a significant voter turnout of 67.7% across 96 constituencies in 10 states and union territories. This phase marked the participation of 1,717 candidates contending for the attention of 17.7 crore eligible voters. However, amidst this democratic process, reports of violence and malfunctioning electronic voting machines surfaced in certain areas, underscoring the challenges faced in conducting free and fair elections. With the completion of the fourth phase, a total of 379 seats in 23 states and union territories have conducted voting, setting a stage for the upcoming phase scheduled for May 20, May 25, and June 1st, with the final vote count slated for June 4th. Notably, West Bengal recorded the highest turnout at 78.44%, marked by clashes between workers of Trinamool Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party. Conversely, Jammu and Kashmir, particularly the Srinagar constituency, witnessed a relatively lower turnout at 37.98%, attributed to its first election post the revocation of Article 370. Across different states, Maharashtra registered a turnout of 59.64%, while Andhra Pradesh and Telangana saw robust participation with turnouts of 78.15% and 64.93% respectively. Additionally, alongside the Lok Sabha polls, elections for assembly seats in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha were also conducted. However, amidst the electoral process, controversy emerged as BJP candidate K. Madhavi Latha from Hyderabad faced allegations for reportedly asking burqa-clad women voters to reveal their faces for identity verification, sparking debates around voter rights and privacy. Meanwhile, in a significant development, the Supreme Court has been petitioned to address the delay in publishing voter turnout data for the first two phases of the Lok Sabha elections. Advocates Prashant Bhushan and Neha Rathi, representing the Association for Democratic Reforms, filed a plea expressing concerns over the accuracy of the data released by the Election Commission. They noted a considerable delay in releasing the voter turnout figures and observed discrepancies between the initial percentages provided by the EC and the later figures. To ensure transparency and accountability, the plea requests the EC to disclose authenticated records of voter turnout by uploading scanned copies of polling station votes after each phase of voting. Additionally, it seeks the publication of constituency and polling station-wise voter turnout figures. Shifting focus to legal arena, the Supreme Court has denied former Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren's plea for interim bail to campaign for the Lok Sabha elections. Despite a request for bail on grounds of electoral participation, the court refused interim relief but agreed to hear Hemant's plea to quash his arrest by the Enforcement Directorate on May 20. However, the court's decision to postpone the hearing until May 20, citing a heavy workload, has drawn criticism for potentially impeding Hemant's electoral activities. The court emphasized the need for time for the ED to prepare a response, considering the impending voter phase in Jharkhand on May 20. Despite initial disappointment, the court eventually agreed to hear the case on May 17, offering a glimmer of hope for Hemant's electoral aspirations. Switching gears to economic indicators, April 2024 witnessed stability in overall retail inflation, maintaining at 4.83%. However, food inflation surged to 8.7%, reaching a 4-month high, with rural consumers experiencing a notable uptick at 8.75%. In urban areas, overall prices saw a slight increase, particularly in food prices, which rose by 1.03%. The Consumer Price Index reflected a marginal rise of 0.6% from urban households and 0.37% for rural India compared to previous month. The Reserve Bank of India anticipates retail inflation to average 4.5% for the year, with the April to June quarter projected to average 4.9%. Notably, while vegetable prices moderated slightly at 27.8%, pulses and cereals witnessed double-digit inflation, further exacerbating food prices. Additionally, fruits experienced a notable price rise at 5.22%. Amidst these trends, fuel and light prices recorded a significant drop by 4.2%, providing some relief from the inflation pressure exerted by rising food prices. Regionally, Orissa, Assam and Haryana reported the highest inflation rates in April, while Delhi exhibited the lowest. In a significant development for regional trade and cooperation, India and Iran drew a 10-year contract for the operation of Shahid Beheshti terminal at Chabahar port. Under this agreement, Indian Ports Global Limited will invest approximately 120 million in port equipment, bolstering infrastructure and connectivity in the region. Furthermore, India extended a credit line worth 250 million from Chabahar related infrastructure projects, reaffirming its commitment to enhancing trade and transit routes. This agreement, hailed as a historic milestone by Port and Maritime Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, is poised to facilitate traditional trade between India, Iran and Afghanistan, underscoring the strategic significance of Chabahar port as a vital channel for regional cooperation. Shifting gears, India's National Human Rights Commission faces a major setback as the Geneva-based Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions deferred its accreditation for the second consecutive year. The decision made by the subcommittee on May 1st comes amidst concerns regarding transparency in NHRC member appointments, the involvement of police officers in human rights investigation, and insufficient representation of gender and minorities. This isn't the first time the NHRC's accreditation has been questioned. It was previously deferred in 2016 but restored in 2017. However, the two consecutive deferrals now point a concerning picture. The NHRC claims ongoing general elections made implementing structural changes suggested by GANHRI difficult. The suspension will be renewed next year, but it casts a shadow on India's human rights record. Moving on, the International Monetary Fund or IMF has issued a warning to the Maldives regarding debt distress stemming from its increased reliance on Chinese loans. The situation arises from a shift in the Maldives' foreign policy as President Mohammad Muizzu has turned towards China for financial support, potentially distancing the country from its traditional partner India. The IMF has urged the Maldives to raise revenue and reduce external borrowing to avoid an economic crisis. In a show of support, India has extended a $50 million treasury bill rollover as a goodwill gesture to assist the Maldives with its budgetary needs. Turning our attention to the Middle East, Israeli forces have advanced deeper into Rafah, Gaza's southern city, triggering an accelerated migration of Palestinians. Over 300,000 civilians have fled Rafah following evacuation orders by the Israeli. The international community has strongly condemned this offensive, and Egypt plans to join South Africa in accusing Israel of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The UN Human Rights Chief has questioned the invasion's compliance with international humanitarian law. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has opposed a major military assault on Rafah, warning of enduring insurgency without a clear Gaza exit strategy and post-war governance plan. Shifting gears to Eastern Europe, Russian President Vladimir Putin has orchestrated a significant cabinet shakeup, replacing Sergei Shoigu as defense minister and appointing him as the Secretary of Russia's Security Council. This move comes amidst the arrest of Shoigu's deputy Timur Ivanov on bribery charges, hinting at Shoigu's possible dismissal. Andrei Belozov, a civilian, has been appointed as the new defense minister, emphasizing innovation and economic considerations. Meanwhile, Russia itself has launched a ground offensive in Ukraine's Kharkiv region, targeting over 30 villages and towns and resulting in nearly 6,000 evacuations. Russia claims tactical success, but the conflict's trajectory remains uncertain. Lastly, in Europe, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson has expressed openness to hosting nuclear weapons on Swedish soil during wartime. This comes as Sweden prepares to vote on a defense cooperation agreement with the US in June, granting US access to military bases and storage of military equipment. Sweden, a recent NATO member, has faced criticism for its openness as calls for banning nuclear weapons in the DCA emerge from groups like Swedish Peace and Arbitration Association. Kristersson expressed the need for self-defense against nuclear threats, but assures Sweden will have autonomy in any decisions regarding nuclear weapons on its soil. And that concludes today's edition of our Daily News Roundup. Stay tuned for more updates and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. This is Chronicle Daily signing off.